Hey everyone, welcome to Make It Rock, the show where I show you how I make it rock and how you can do the exact same thing. And in this show today, I'm going to be showing you how I put my thumbnails together because I got a new show that is really an old show that's being rebranded that is starting this weekend. Called it used to be Thomas Christ Live. Now it's going to be Hour of Rock, and I need to make the very first thumbnail for that. So I'm bringing you along for the ride, along for the journey as we dip into some of these creative apps. Now you might ask yourself, why is this on the Make It Rock show? Because it's not really music, is it? And you're right, you have a point. But this is also a really, really important part of it. The way you can make some great thumbnails and make your stuff stand out and make people want to click on it. At least that's the theory anyway. That's how it's supposed to work. Let's say hey to the people we got here in the chat. We got Ali Gratilla smashing the like. I appreciate that immensely. And watching from Lurkland. We love our lurkers, so that's all cool. Jade Star just did a fantastic show on a couple packs from Compose Audio for real this time. I know. I thought the show on Monday was Compose Audio, and it was actually what was it? Sonora Cinematic. So, but yes, very cool stuff, and very cool stuff from Leela before as well. Frank Turzo, good to see you, man. How you doing? And Paws and Guitars, great to have you here with us as well. Thanks to everybody that came over for the birthday show yesterday. It was so awesome to have my awesome wife on the show, Emilia, and there she is. Why didn't the notification go off? I don't know. That's weird. Anyway, let's get into this and let's get started here on what we're working on. So this app right here that I'm in is a little thing called hey, DJ Big Red, one of our great mods here. Good to see you. Thank you so much. I'm going to be closing that submission form probably pretty soon after this show, I will say, for tomorrow's show, because we're pretty full up. We're pretty full up. But yes, we got U-Rock coming up tomorrow. But hey, Dynamite Throw, welcome. My anti-AI wife. We'll see how that factors into everything. The Dynamite Throw, great to see you, of course. All right, so this is a little program called Logoist 5. This is what I use to make pretty much all of the graphic design stuff. Hey, look, it's Tremor Bear. What's going on, Tremor? Tremor Bear is going to be featured on Jade's interview on Thursday, by the way, on the Jade Star Music channel, which you should definitely check out. So this is Logoist 5. When you open up Logoist 5, you're going to see a window that looks like this. And so this just gives you some pre-made templates. I mean, they got square, wide, you get US letter, half letter. I don't know why you would ever use those. But there's some down here that are more relevant, like Facebook cover photo, Facebook profile picture, Facebook link image post, highlighted image, Facebook event image, Twitter header, Twitter. So there's a lot of good social media stuff there for Facebook and Twitter. Not anything actually for YouTube specifically, but the one that I go into. Now, really for your thumbnails, you should be using 1280 by 720p. So this would be the 720p. I actually use 1080p, and I don't know if it makes a huge difference because I upload my thumbnails through the streaming app that I use, which is Ecamm Live. And I think it auto converts it because it won't let me do it from YouTube directly, but I can do it through this as 920 by 1080, and it probably just downscales it automatically. But I don't know if there's any improvement in quality from that. I'm guessing there probably isn't, but you'll select one of these two if you're gonna create a thumbnail. You probably want to go with the 720p. Just to be on the safe side. Anyway, so I have this already kind of started here. It's just a blank thing. I've already titled it Hour of Rock, keeping the episode numbers. Episode 213, this will be. So we're zoomed to fit, so it'll bring it in a little bit sharper focus here. I brought in a bunch of images that I just took. I'll explain a little bit more about these images and how I get them. These are all brand new. and I'm not really super happy with them because I didn't do the lighting right when I did the thumbnail pictures, but I had to do the show today, so I may be changing these out actually, whichever one I go with, but we'll see what we can do with it. So what we're gonna start with here, and I brought up also, this is the last Thomas Christ Live episode, and it's gotten a lot of. Now I could do this in a very easy way by just copying and pasting things over. Are you sure I don't want to go back to 183? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was You Rock though. That was You Rock episode 183. We had all the difficulties, but we're not gonna dwell on that. So this was from the last Thomas Christ Live last weekend, and so now we're gonna change this over to to make a hour of rock. And here's how I'm going to do it. So I could just select each of these elements and bring and copy and paste them over. That's probably, if you weren't watching, that's probably what I would do. But I'm going to actually like recreate stuff so you can see how I did it initially. So we'll start off with, actually, no, you know what? Let's do this. We're going to go, this is the part that my wife was going to be not happy about, but, because she doesn't like AI anything. I don't like much AI. I don't do the chat GPT because they want you to pay money and I ain't paying money for AI. I'm sorry about that. It's not something I'm wasting my money on. But this is Bing Image Creator. And if you just type in Google, you'll get Bing Image Creator. It's totally free to use. You don't have to pay a red cent for this, and it creates pretty decent stuff. Is it quite to the level of the chat GPTs and the mid journeys and stuff? No, it isn't. But it creates some interesting and fun stuff, and it's not too bad. Now the show this weekend, there she is. There she is. Anyway, so the show this weekend is going to be about it's going to be, so we did the second tracks of albums. This weekend is going to be the third track of albums. So I was trying to think of how I would go about this, and I thought about, what about a roller coaster? Because I had trains on the last one. I'm thinking about what goes on tracks. So what about a roller coaster with like 3 trains that are all racing each other? So let's just see what we can come up with. Roller coaster with 3 trains that race simultaneously. I spell that word. Simultaneously. And then I'll put a comma, realistic. All right. So let's see. Let's just see what it comes up with. Who knows? Hey, Mix Club, Rhett, welcome. Now I'll tell you a little secret with this also. Oh, that's interesting. None of these have 3. It did not do what I told it to do at all. Which is that happens. That's what happens with the AI. That's pretty fascinating though. This is not at all what I was looking for. I think this one might have 2, maybe. This one has 2. Let's see if we change it from trains to 3 cars. I may have to abandon this whole concept. Okay, we got 2. And I guess technically there's a third one up here, but that's not really what we were trying to do. These are actual cars on the thing. See, this is why I love doing this, because it does take what you do and in a very literal way sometimes. There's this. I don't know what's going on there. That's pretty fascinating. These look like they're gonna crash into each other. That's probably not good. That's not very good design there. So I think I'm gonna have to abandon this. Let's try 3 cars racing on a big racetrack. 3 cars racing on a big racetrack. Realistic. Oh. Oh, it actually kind of did it. This one is cool. And this one is really cool. I kind of like it. I kind of like it. I think one of these could work. This one too. There's technically another car back there, but it's back in the back like that. All right. So, I'm going to save these. So you just hit the download button there and that'll save it for you. I don't know about that one. This one though. We'll save those. All right. So, then we'll come into our new project here and we are going to, he says, man, I'm a caveman with thumbnails, screenshot of iMovie in edit mode, cropped on. I have so much to learn to step up at my game. And you know what? There's an argument to be made. I've seen some pretty big creators on YouTube who have terrible thumbnails. And they have millions of subscribers. So, you know what? Are very basic thumbnails. Sometimes I think some of that is a bit overstated. But anyway, so I'll come in here and we'll go. It should be in downloads. There they are. Can I bring all these in? I think I found out before I can't do it. I have to do them one at a time. The only annoying thing about this. Okay. Because I don't know which one I'm going to use. I do know these are going to need to be down here, though. Okay. So, I'm kind of leaning towards this one, but I want to see. Now, you see the one issue. This is the size that you get. You're only going to get this size. So you have to kind of, I don't mind disproportionately stretching these. I was actually doing the wrong one there. I'm going to hide these. So you get these little eyeball things, and that just, see, if I didn't have this here, see, this just makes things visible or invisible. So we want to keep only this one visible. I'll stretch it out. Don't really care too much. That's good. Yeah, I kind of like that. I kind of like it. One thing I'm going to do, I think with this, because I did it on the other one, I'm going to make a shape. Okay, because what we want to do is we want to make the top and bottom of this image darker. Now, I'm just putting a black rectangle over the whole thing. You're thinking, oh my goodness, what the hell are you doing? I'm going to come in here to fill, and there should be an option here, fill with gradient. Yes, we'll do that. So we'll come in here, we'll edit the gradient, and what I'm going to want to do is just make all of the points black. So we'll bring that down, we'll make that black. We will, and we want it on the white black scale, so it's not going to bring in any other colors that we don't want. I'm going to bring this to the middle. It'll auto snap to the middle for you, which is nice. I'm going to hit duplicate, and I'll bring this one over to the other side. So we have 3 points. And then what we want to do is take this middle one, and I'm going to take the alpha channel. And what this alpha channel does, this is your opacity. So this middle one, we're going to decrease the opacity. And you see what's happening. Okay. And this middle part is completely clear, but these 2 edge parts are completely black, and then it fades into clear. So that gives you this like where it's dark at the top, dark at the bottom, and then in the middle you have it clear and you can see your image through. So that's nice because when we put text over top of this, and we put other things on this, it's going to be able to show up, especially the stuff toward the top and the bottom. Now, one thing you want to keep in mind with thumbnails, this is something I learned from Pete Johns, is this butthole based? Rat. What the fuck? What the fuck, Rat? But anyway, you could buy Logoist is a one-time fee to purchase Logoist. I really can't say enough about this. And I found out about this from Ron Ward. So I have to give the credit to Ron Ward. He showed me this. He showed this program a long time ago, and I was like, wow, this is incredible. This does everything I need it to do and more. So we got that. Now what I'm going to do is, you see on all my thumbnails, I have this little line around the edge. And what I want to find out now, again, I could just copy this, but I'm not going to do that because I want to show you how to do it. So we have this group here, and I want to see stroked rectangle, because all rectangles should be stroked. Not all. Some of them we want to not stroke, but some rectangles you like to stroke. And that just means that it's doing the outline of the rectangle and it's not filling in the inside. So we have this 60.7 pixels. So I want to make sure these are, no, that's the roundness. Where is the, okay, the line width, 2.61 pixels. So I just want to make sure that the one I create is going to be the same, so it keeps continuity with the former thumbnails. So open this up. We'll add a stroked rectangle. Here we go. Nice stroked rectangle. And we want to just leave a little bit of room at the edges. And you'll say, well, that's black. I can't see it very well. We'll do fill. And we're going to fill this one white. And there we go. So now we have a white rectangle. What was this? This was like 6.7 something. That's 67. That'll be fine. For the roundness. Now there's 3 different options. I'm going to tell you right off the bat, I can't go through everything that this program does. Like, I would be here all night. We would be here all night. But this just allows you to control. Like, if you didn't want to have this rounded edge, you could just hit none, and then it'll give you a straight square edge like that. But we actually want the rounded edge. So I'm going to go back to round, and 67 pixels. That seems pretty good. And then I don't remember exactly what the line width was supposed to be, but I think it was like, well, 2.61. Do I need to be that exact? Probably not. I could probably just do 2.6, and that would be fine. Not 206. That's going to be way too big. 2.6. There we go. Okay. So we have that. Now, the next thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to create another, because you'll see on this one, there's another rectangle here. You'll say, well, why don't I see it? Well, that's because it's invisible. It's actually an invisible rectangle. Hello, Pete Johns. Welcome. So this rectangle is actually telling this, see how there's a gap in here? I'm using this rectangle to create that gap in the line around. So what I'm going to do, create another rectangle. This one we will have just as a straight edged rectangle, no rounded edges. And we'll come up here and we'll try to figure out roundabout how wide this should have to be. We'll have to adjust this later. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold shift and I'm going to select this, and it'll select both of these. And then we can hit group here, and we'll group them together. I'm realizing you can't see everything I'm doing. I'm just going to get off the screen because I don't even really need to be visible right now. But anyway, so you see where it says group. Now it says ungroup because I already grouped them, but we're just grouping these together. And then you'll see this little plus sign, and this tells you how these 2 shapes interact with each other. So I'm going to hit subtract, and there we go. Now we have a gap in this line that goes around. See? Look at that. How about that? Amazing. It's incredible what you can do. Hello, Driven to Right, by the way. What is going on here? What is going on here, he asks. I'm making a thumbnail for my new show. Or my new old show, blah, blah, blah. It's Hour of Rock. That'll be on Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. All right, so we did that. So now what I want to do is I'm going to create text. And we'll add text. So here's our text. Oh, no. Sometimes it grabs the wrong thing, and that's what you don't want it to do. I'm going to keep that out of this group for right now because it'll... If you have something in a group selected, when you create something new, it'll add it to that group. We don't want that. So you can just drag it out of there like I did there. It's no problem at all. You see the new text, but we want this to be white like the other one. So there we go. It's white. We've filled it with color, so now it is white. By the way, when this creates shapes, it creates shapes in a way that is, it's black, but it's actually just the shape, if that makes sense. So it's not actually filled with color. So if you have a black shape, you could actually fill it with black, but it will show up as black if you export it. So it's kind of not a big deal. To this new text, we want to make sure this is the right. I need to go back to this one actually, and just take a look and see what this text was. Okay, League Gothic was the name of the font. I just want to make sure I have the right fonts here. And this one was also League Gothic. So they're both League Gothic. So we'll get our trendy League Gothic font that everybody's using. Where the hell is it? I have too many fonts. Is the thing. There's League. I just saw it. League Gothic. Okay. So in League Gothic, so we'll call this Hour of Rock, just like that. And then what we can do, let me just check on this font size. So the font size for that should be 164.6. I mean, we could just call it 164. That's fine. So actually makes it a little bit smaller, believe it or not. So we're in the center. Now what's nice is this will snap and it will give you guidelines like this. So you can see you're in the center. There's like the center of the whole image. It can, once you get a lot of things in here, it can get a little confusing because it'll start to like give you guidelines for other things that are in here. So that's one minor criticism I have of this, but that's not too bad. So now I'm going to come in here, and where you see where it says tracking, what this does, this is really cool. This actually, this right here, spreads the words out. See, like that. So you can have them real close in together, or you can have them out real wide. So we're going to want it, somewhere in that vicinity, I think will be good. Don't forget, I can bring this stuff back in, so I'm not worried about that right now. I'm actually going to duplicate this. Okay, so we're duplicated. You can see we're duplicated. And I'm going to come here, and I'm going to call this, what did I put? Live music performance. I'm going to keep everything as consistent as I can. Live, if I could spell. I'm not worried that that's way, I knew that was going to happen. So we'll bring this tracking in, and we're going to also check the font size on this. So this should be at 40, we'll call that 47. We'll call that 47, and I'll just type that in. 47, there we go. And now we'll actually spread that tracking back out. Because what we want to do is get this to line up pretty close with Hour of Rock. So now we have it, and then now I just want to make sure that everything is, the top of this should be level with this line. So that's what I want to make sure of. So we got that. Now, I know you're looking at this and you're thinking, my goodness, this is a lot of work. But once you have this done the first time, you can just change it each week, and you don't have to do all this. So I'm just showing you this for the sake of, this is like starting from scratch, kind of. So there we go. We got it pretty good. And I'm just changing the size of that invisible box that's cutting a hole in this outer outline. And now what I'm going to do is take this and just make sure that it's lined up in the center, and it'll automatically be centered. So there we go. A large part of our work is already done here. Now all I have to do is bring myself into the picture, and we'll figure out which one which one I'm gonna use. Oh my. And I'm gonna show you in a minute how I did these too. Um, let's just pick one. No, no, no. Yeah, let's go with that. I'm gonna go with that one. I think I like that one. So let's just now I'm gonna hold. If I hold shift, it will actually keep the if you're gonna resize things, you can hold shift, and that will keep the perspective. Um, so it won't warp the image. But you could also go over here to where it says scale mode right here and change it to fit. This is for any image, it will let you do this. And now it will only allow you to do it proportionally, which apparently I'm on the wrong layer is the problem. There we go. Okay. I can scale it down. It doesn't need to be scaled down a whole heck of a lot. All right. So there we go. We're doing pretty good on this. And then another thing I want to get in here, we got the Hour of Rock logo. There's the new Hour of Rock logo. We want to make sure this can go in here. And I will do the same thing with this. I'm going to change it to fit mode, and I'm going to scale it on down. And we'll just make it fit up here. And I will tell you that sometimes things look, especially images, sometimes don't look the greatest in this preview mode, but when you export things, it'll look fine. It's just the preview kind of they keep the resolution a little bit lower to save on processing and stuff, but it'll export very nicely. I mean, you can actually go in, there's like enhanced low res image. I don't think we need to do that in this case, but and then the other thing I need is the episode thing over here on the side. So I'm going to take a look at what I did over here. So that was Avenir Next Condense Bold. Both of them are Avenir Next Condense Bold. So let's keep with that. And I'll just add another text. There we go. It's very small right now, but we can embiggen that. That's not a problem. All right, so let's bring this up here. And let's just type this as episode. And we'll go down here and we'll change this font to Avenir Next Condensed, which is somewhere. There we go. Avenir Next Condensed. I'm going to assume that's bold, right? Yeah, Avenir Next Condensed Bold. Okay. So we're good on that. What was the font size there? Font size was 165. We'll just call it 165. Now it's really freaking huge. That's okay. I know why. I know why. All right. Let me duplicate this. Let me create the number. So it'll be 213. Not 231 yet. 213. Drag this down here so it's underneath there. And then let me see what that stacks up as. So that, oh, okay. All right. This was supposed to be 165. I'm sorry if I'm getting a bit technical. It kind of is what it is. But this is well worth, you're not going to really have to worry about all this stuff. I'm just trying to get it to match up as closely as possible. So that one's the 165. We have that. This one was 81, I believe. And put that in. There we go. Now we're looking. Now we're good. And I like to group these together just so that okay. And what's nice is when these are a group, you can edit these as a group. So then it's not going to lose. Hey David, welcome. So you can edit these as a group and you can move things as a group, so you don't have to although I am going to move this down just man. I just want a little separation there. Okay. Now we have it. Episode 213. And I may want to just shrink that down a little. So I held shift while I did it, and that way, it's not disproportional. Actually, it should be shrunk down probably a little bit more even. By the way, if you're appreciating what I'm doing, hit the like button. That would be awesome. Let's just give it a little bit more. I don't care. I think that's good. Okay. Let's see. All right, so now what we need to do is you can't have things just floating around. They need to have shadows. So we're going to come in here. We're going to go to... So this stuff, I'm going to group all this. The live music performance, Hour of Rock, I'm going to group that together, because then I can add the shadow all at once to all of this. So we'll do the shadow. Now, the shadow looks pretty ridiculous right now. I actually increased the opacity a lot just so I can see what I'm doing. I'm going to bring the y-axis in, which is up and down. And then the x-axis I'll bring over, which is side to side. And then this radius, what this does is it kind of blurs it outwards. So that's pretty extreme. But then what we can do is we can bring the opacity down, and then it just kind of looks nice. And what I can then do is copy styles, and that'll let me copy and paste this onto the episode number. And now it's got the shadow, and onto the logo. And now it's got the shadow, although I think I want to reduce the opacity on that just a little bit because it's a little much. Okay. So there we go. Like, we're 9/10 of the way there. We are 9/10 of the way there. And the only thing left for me to do is I'm going to actually select the image of me here. And I'm going to go to Effect. I'm going to go to Color Controls. That looks ridiculous because for whatever reason, this changes these to 1.5. Which is unnatural. So if you change 0, if you have the brightness at 0, saturation at 1, contrast at 1, that's no change. So so that's where I like to start. And then I'm going to pull some saturation out of this so I don't look so like tanned or whatever that is. And then I'm going to increase the contrast. And now I'm starting to pop really nice in that. And I think I'm also going to take... oh, that's right. I can't do it now. Shoot. All right. I gotta add a shadow to this as well. So we added a shadow. There we go. We're going to do the same procedure we did before. We'll increase the opacity. We're going to pull this Y offset a little bit. Although since it's at the bottom, it's not as big of an issue. We'll pull this in from the side on the x-axis. We've already got some good radius going on there. Some good blurring on that. And then we'll just drop the opacity down until it looks fairly natural. And there we go. Now we have pretty much like the thumbnail. I just want to look at that. You see how this is really huge. And this is not. I think what I did is I think I stretched it. And let's see if I can do this elegantly. You can actually group a single object. I'm going to group a single object, and what that'll let me do is I can then pull this bottom handle, and you'll see it's going to stretch it out. So now it looks a lot closer to what this was looking like. So I think I'm actually I might just kind of stick with that for the thumbnail image. So I'm gonna hit save, and then I'm gonna hit export. Now there's a couple things with export. We're gonna export as a PNG. When I come here to export, you see this anti-aliasing? This thing is way over here on like 1 times. I want to move it over to 4 times, and that just makes the text look nice and crisp. I don't know why it defaults to 1 time, but I always have it at 4 times. And I'm going to export it, and I will export it here where I always export things, but you can do it wherever you want. And there we go. And then now, I should have the finished thumbnail available, and I will show that to you right here. There we go. There's the completed thumbnail. Although, like I said, I may replace this image, so don't get too attached to this picture because it may change. But that's a start. That's a start. I'm gonna put myself back in the. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. There we go. I'm back in the corner again. And now, what I'm going to show you a little bit of, I'm going to show you how I actually came up with these pictures of myself. And the way I do it is with this app here. This is called Pixelmator Pro. And when you open up Pixelmator Pro, you're going to get a, does it have the, yeah, you're going to get this image. This is another app you do have to pay for. Apple recently bought this, so I don't know I don't know what the future of Pixelmator Pro is, but it is. I swear it's the best app available on Mac OS for doing graphic design work. I just love this app. So this is a picture. This is the raw picture of me right out of the iPhone camera. But I'm going to show you how I prepare this to go over to the other app that I'll show you in a minute that makes it look like a cartoon a little bit. So I have a preset already made, but I'm not going to use the preset. I'm going to just do it from scratch. So you can change the exposure. That just makes it lighter or darker. So I might just want a little bit of more exposure. Highlights. This is just the light areas of the picture, and we can adjust that with this slider. So it doesn't make a huge difference, but it makes enough of a difference. I like to put this up a little bit. Depends on the image, though. You know, it really is an image-dependent thing. It's like mixing music. You know, it depends on your source material. Shadows. I like to put this down a little bit, and you can see how this just instantly, you know, you could bring it up and then it's really faded out. But if you bring this down, it's just making the shadow areas darker without making the light areas or the mid-tone areas darker, which is very cool. Brightness, I might just up that a titch. Contrast, I like to put a lot of contrast. I'm probably going to go up almost 50% on the contrast. Black point, this is another great one. I love this. And this is already pretty black, so but you'd be surprised how this just really, like, you see, you bring this down and it's faded out. It's kind of similar to the shadow, but even more extreme. And it just makes those blacks really nice and black. Then you have texture and clarity. These are newer features that were added on recently. And you can see if you put the texture way down, it looks all kind of soft. And if you put it way up, it's very crisp. And I don't like that at all because it shows all your flaws. But I like to just bring that down just a touch. And then clarity, it's kind of similar, kind of a similar concept. I'll be honest with you. I might just leave that. I'll just do like that. That's fine. So there we go. So now we have an image that I think is pretty much ready to be sent out. So, let's see how I can do this. I'm going to go to export. I'm going to export this as test image because I already did this picture, I'm pretty sure. All right, now I'm gonna go into an app here that is called Tune Me, and this is really for iOS, but it does work on the Mac. So here we go. This is Tune Me. This is for really for iOS. The problem I was running into using it on here is that once you go to export a picture, you then have to reopen the app because it freezes. It'll export the picture, but it freezes, and then you have to close it and reopen it again, which is annoying. So it's kind of better. So I go to trending. This is a subscription, by the way, but I kind of I think I bought a yearly subscription to it because I do use it a lot. But before I was just using it, I would use it for a few days, buy the subscription, and then take the subscription away. Just have it for a week or something. You could do that. So I'll use this template with this attractive looking lady here, and that's the template that we want to use. And now this is the other kind of annoying thing about it is that let's see what this does. Because this is made for iOS, it wants to pull from your photo gallery. So what I then have to do is I have to import into the photo gallery, which I'm not going to do right now. I'm just going to take one that's already here, and it's the same principle. So here we go. This is one that's already in here. We'll just go like this. And it says processing, downloading result. There we go. And then what I have to do is hit that button, and then you hit this 3 dots. Now, if you're on a phone, you can just hit this little download button there, that blue button with the down arrow, and that'll just save it to your camera roll. But since I'm on the Mac and I want it to actually save somewhere, I'm going to hit save here from the 3 dots, and it'll let me just, again, we'll just do test image because I'm going to delete these later. All right, and then what I want to do is I'm going to go back, I'm going to get that image, and I am going to, hey, Dan Eckberg, welcome. Yeah, this app works fantastic for this kind of thing. Once I figure out where the hell that went to, I think I know where it is. Okay. So I will get it. Where's my test image? There we go. So I'm going to open that same image that I just had. This is up in we're back in Pixelmator Pro. Now what I want to do is get rid of this background. Now you can use, there's the automatic background thing. It's on the Mac too. You can use it, but it doesn't always work super well, and especially with images like this, it just doesn't do a quality job. And I want quality, so I'm gonna use this. And the way I do it is I go up to edit, I go to select subject. I could just do remove background. It's kind of a similar thing. It's got its own thing. It might work. Actually, that one not too bad. But let's pretend like that didn't work very well. And then what we would have to do is I go to select subject. I'll select it. It'll draw, like the little marquee around all of this. Now, you'll see there's one little area right there where there's a little bit of space, and it didn't pick that up. So I'm going to go here into the quick selection. I'm going to do subtract, and I'm going to just highlight that little area right there. So now that's out of the selection. And then I'm going to go up to edit. I'm going to go to invert selection, and then I'm going to go delete, and there's background is bye-bye. And then we can go to deselect, and it'll take that marquee away. And then there you go. That's how you get the images that I use. So I'll save that, and I'm not going to save this one because it's not necessary. But you would just go up to File, you go to Export, and you do the Save Dialog the way you do with anything. So that's pretty much how the sausage is made. If you were wondering, I know that there is a ton of stuff that all of these things can do that I didn't even scratch the surface on, and that really wasn't the point today. But I just wanted to show you how I put a thumbnail together, how I do graphics, how I do the artwork for the channel, and that encompasses everything. That's from the layouts for Ecamm. That is how I do the headers on all social media stuff. It's all the same process. It may look a little different, could take different shapes, but that's the way I do it. So hopefully you got something out of that. If you did, I hope you will definitely hit that like button. And yeah, I started watching the stream both my phone and my computer. There's a slight lag. Huh. I don't know. That might be a YouTube thing. How the sausage is made, or it's time to make the donuts. Exactly. Well, thank you all so very much for joining me for this show. We'll be back again next week. I don't know what we'll be doing, but I'll come up with something for you. Home studio related. Probably get back into some music stuff. Because it seems like there's probably a bit more interest in that than in the thumbnail making. But anyway, hopefully you got something out of that. If you did, hit the like button. If you have any questions that I didn't address here in the chat, you can always leave comments down below, and I will get to those as soon as I can and try to help you out. So that's Logoist 5, Pixelmator Pro, controversially Bing and Bing Image Creator, and Tune Me on it's really an iOS app. Works better on iOS. You can get it to work on these M1 Max, on these M Series Max, but it's a bit of a janky thing. Oh, you have a question? Let me know. Lay it on me. I'll wait here. I'll answer a question from Driven to Right. And hopefully. Do you think you could swing by my channel and check out my graphics? Any suggestions for improvements would be appreciated. Well, I certainly could. You're doing a lot better than I am. What do you? I should be asking you. What I need to ask Driven to Right, man. He's got like 20. What did he just cross? 25,000 subscribers. Holy shit. But yeah, I could. I'll check it out and see what I can tell you. But yeah, these are some great tools. There's some great tools to put together some artwork for your channel. And I think that if you follow these steps, if you follow what I just showed you there, use your creativity, you'll come up with brilliant stuff and revolutionize the thumbnail game. We need new ideas in thumbnails, because thumbnails are boring anymore. They're all tragically boring and the same. But anyway, 30 he's at 30,000. Yeah. Right on, man. Well, thank you all so very much. Well, I did go to school for this. I went to school for graphic design, art, studio art major, graphic design minor. It was the worst degree. If you're thinking about going to school for that, don't. Because I probably could have not gone to school, and I could have done all this stuff that I just showed you, and I could have figured it all out on my own. I really need to. Anyway, go to school for business or something lucrative. If you're young folk out there. Anyway, I gotta get off of here. But I thank you all very much for watching and checking this out. And don't forget, got Leela is gonna be doing live performance tomorrow. There's a link in the description for Leela's channel. Jade Star has got a new 4Pockets app that's going to be very interesting, very cool. And there's a link for her channel, Jade Star Music, in the description. And then we got You Rock. And like I said, I'm probably going to be closing the form up pretty quick because we're pretty full for tomorrow. But I do encourage you to come on by and check out all the great music we're going to have on the show. It's going to be a great time. All right. Thank you so much for watching once again. And as always, much love. Take care. Most importantly, keep rocking. I'll see you tomorrow on You Rock. Bye-bye.